Okay guys, I'm going to go to Ask Scruff in the Discord. It's part of the Answers Hub that we do. It's a series of trader clinic videos. Now, some of them are public, some of them are just for the squad. So let's roll the intro and we'll see what's on offer. And a warm welcome, one and all. So it's a little salute to Casper, a little salute to you. Dropped in quite a good question. And it's not as difficult as what it seems on the surface. So if I flick it over, this is our Discord. It's a group that I moderate, look after. They wind each other up. At the moment, they're winding up haircut because he doesn't understand some of the terminologies we use over in the UK. And he's in Australia, so we don't understand what you lot are up to either. Got your bulls and bears, where they'll talk the charts, what they're up to, etc. And I'll also put in my 2 penneth as well. If I'm asked, I'll break a chart down, I'll give my opinion on it, etc., etc. Now, also in this community is a trader clinic. Now, inside here, there's 3 sections to it. There's your request and help vids. It's where the guys might have seen a video that resonates with them and they want to share it. Because on my library, there's over 3,000 videos. And the guys are often saying, oh, well, which one's best for this or which one's best for that? They'll drop it in there, or they can ask me to do something, and I will. Paul Booth, that's just Paul's, exactly as you said. But then you have Ask Scruff. And this is where, if they've got a quick question, and I don't particularly want to type it out, because I'm a bit lazy like that, I'll come to camera like this and I'll answer it. So that's what it's all about. Now, here it is for Casper. He's never learned about currency strengths and weakness. Now, the question's kind of a few-fold, but I'll try and boil it down a bit. How does Forex strength work? How important is it to look at? And if something's very weak and something's very strong, what's the reason to trade? Well, that's multiple questions in one. And ultimately, you'll always find various ways of getting strengths and weaknesses. I personally prefer to work it out myself. And I'll quickly show you what it is that I'm talking about. I'll just flick this back. Now, you can also use things like investing.com, FinViz, and they'll have various ways of showing strength. Now, you can have it where it's just what's the strongest in the last 5 minutes, or even what's the strongest in the last month, and anywhere between, because they do it through time frame factors. I personally prefer to do an average of all sorts of different factors. So I'm looking at Elliott waves, I'm looking at strengths of Bollinger Bands, I'm looking at what's going on with oscillators. I look at various different things, and I've kind of come to a conclusion, and it's pretty accurate because it's a gross average of most things. Now, when I look at it, in this example, you'll see JPY is sitting at the top, and you'll also see the New Zealand dollar is sitting at the bottom. They are poles apart. But you'll also see a change of position next to it. Has it been strong for a while and not moved, or is it moving up or down the ranks? And then on the other side, it's the change of strength from the last data sample, which also tells me what that currency is up to. So at the moment, if I looked at this, I can see JP is the strongest currency of the major currencies that's available, which is these 8 here, and it hasn't changed position, so it's static. But what about change of strength? And this is why I look at multiple factors. It's down by 20. So something's going to happen with that, and it's going to happen soon. So if I've got that information, why would strongest and weakest be relevant? Well, it's very simple. If I've got 2 opposing currencies, in the example I've just shown you, say pound and euro, they are actually sitting on top of each other. They're pretty much middle of the ground. They're both losing strengths roughly the same rate. One was -5, one was -7. And their change of position is -1. So they're pretty static. So in that instance, that product is probably not going to move very far. The euro against the pound, they'll just do this. So by definition, I can actually work out, well, I'm going to trade that market. It's not going to go far, therefore I'm scalping it. So in that instance, I'm using it to determine what my target is. You know. Now the other way of looking at it is, well, if something's over here and something's over there in what I've just shown you, which is JPY versus New Zealand, they are poles apart and there's a huge gulf between the two. Now what that tells me is there's a high probability of movement. Why? Well, if JP continues to gain ground, it's going to push out over. Now likewise, the New Zealand, if it's losing ground, it's going to go like that. Very much similar to the way a Bollinger Band works. It'll actually tell me what's going on. But if they decide to collapse in, again, I'll use the Bollinger Band as a reference point because that is part of what I look at for strengths. If the Bollinger Band starts curling in, that tells you the energy of direction has changed and they're going to come to the mean, which will be a mean reversion. So those two currencies will start going like that. So what it means is movement. Now, is it going to tell me the direction? Not really. I need to dig into the chart a lot more than that. But it'll tell me whatever it's doing. It's going to be pretty sizable. So again, if I looked at it from a targeting point of view, there's a lot of movement, therefore I can put a better target in. But more importantly, it's shown me liquidity in the sense that I hate all these terms, to be honest, liquidity and stop grab. I just genuinely don't. All it's telling me is they're going to move. That's it. That two pairs will move. Then I just need to look at an ATR and see how far it's going to move. Well, if it's got a good ATR, like 100 plus, and I only want 10 pips or 20 pips out the move, then I know I can get it. And that's what I use strengths for. It helps me determine the product I'm going to trade, how good the target is, and then more importantly, whether or not it's safe. Because like I started this when I was looking at the euro pound as an example, that's not a safe trade because by definition it's a scalp. Scalps are torture. I want something with movement. That can be a day trade moving over into a multi-day trade. Meat on the bones. So I hope that helps. I'm very easy found. You find all my contact details down in the description. If you want to come along to the squad, you'll find details there on how to join. And whenever I do a video, all the members get early release to it, and that includes the news update and a view of that sheet that you've just seen. So as always, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you on the next one.